Hi everyone and welcome to today's video. Today we are going to be testing out and reviewing a new concealer from Benefit. This is their Boi-Ing Cakeless concealer. This retails for $22 US and it only comes in 12 shades, which is kind of a bummer. I myself even had a hard time picking out a particular shade for my complexion. At first I ordered shade 2 and 4 and when I received them I was very disappointed. They were way too light and too cool toned for my complexion. Then I ordered shade 5 and that one seemed to be a better match, but I still felt like it was maybe a little bit too light for me. And so I actually went into Sephora and swatched them all for myself. Unfortunately, I didn't find one particular shade that would suit my complexion, which is why I have two right here. 6, which is obviously the one in between. That one was too cool and I didn't think that the undertone was too cool and I didn't think that would work with me because it would just make my under eye appear a little bit too gray. So that is why I decided to keep number 5 and purchase number 7 and mix them together. Hopefully that will work for today's review. So with this concealer, we get 0.17 fluid ounces worth of product. And it has a shelf life of 6 months, which is pretty typical for a concealer. The packaging on this is super cute. I love the fact that they made it look like a pencil with an eraser on the top. I thought that was really, really neat. It comes with your typical doe foot applicator, although this one has like a really pointy, like elongated tip. As far as the details for this concealer, this does claim to be a full coverage liquid concealer that is going to take care of dark circles, blemishes, any kind of imperfections or discoloration along the face that you're trying to conceal. This has you covered. It also claims to be a very lightweight formula that is not going to cake or crack on us, which is, it's lovely. It's lovely to hear that that is what this is supposed to do. Now, whether or not it does it, that's what we're going to test it out for today. Hopefully it does what it says that it's going to do, because there is nothing worse than when your under eye looks cakey or dry or cracked or just not smooth, you know? Not like this. Like, I like makeup to, you know, makeup looks like makeup, so nothing's going to look natural. But I do like it when it doesn't look like it's heavy or overly done. The cushion tip that comes with the concealer is going to create a smoother than smooth application and blend seamlessly for long wearing waterproof coverage. Now, when they say long wearing, they are claiming that this is going to wear for up to 24 hours, which is a long time. I don't typically wear makeup for 24 hours, but we are going to try to test it out for about 9 hours, maybe 10. Maybe I can push it to 10. Now, as far as how to apply this, the website does specifically state that one layer does the job. So in order to avoid cakiness, we don't want to lay it on thick. We want to just do one layer and blend, 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 and we're done. So this is not a concealer that you want to apply multiple layers of. This is a concealer that you only want to apply one layer of. So that is interesting to me because I wonder what kind of coverage I actually am going to get with just the one layer of concealer. The only thing that I've yet to read, and I'm looking everywhere and I can't seem to find any information on that, is what type of finish this is going to have or this is meant to have. I don't see that anywhere, so I'm not really sure whether or not I will need to set this with a powder. We'll see whether or not I will. After a couple minutes, I will know for sure. If it starts settling into my fine lines, then I will set it. But if not, then I'll leave it alone and we'll call it good. So let's get started. So per usual, I am going to be testing this concealer out with and without a color corrector. And the one that I'm going to be using for today is my Becca Under Eye Brightening Corrector in the shade medium to deep. I'm going to be using this underneath the right eye and I'm going to leave the left eye as is. And we'll get a good idea of what type of coverage this provides, both with the help of a corrector and without the help. So let's just take care of that right now. Just a thin layer underneath this right side. Okay, so now that the corrector is on, I'm going to jump off camera really quickly in order to apply foundation onto the face before coming back and concealing. Okay, so now I am back, foundation is on, and we are ready for concealer. Before I apply it though, I am gonna swatch it here so that you all can see the different shades and like what they look like. I wish I would have kept 2 and 4, but honestly, I was like, why do I need to keep 4 different concealers? Like I don't. So I just kept 5 and 7. Okay, so these are the two different swatches from both of the shades that I have. This one is shade number 7, and this one is number 5. As you can see, 5 is just too light for me. My under eye area would just look way too highlighted, and sometimes I feel like the highlighting underneath the eyes, at least for me, it kind of brings out the darkness a little bit more. Like it just gives you this like gray cast underneath the eyes. That's why I personally do not like to highlight the under eye area, because I just feel like my dark circles don't get as concealed that way. I like to stick to a tone that's a little bit closer to my complexion, which honestly I think 7 by itself may be. Now that I have it swatched and like I'm looking at it right now on the monitor, I think I'm gonna use 7 by itself, because you see 5 is just too light and 7 seems to be just right. I think I'm going to use 7, and I think I'm going to use it on its own. If I do see that it's a little bit too dark, though, I might add a little tiny bit of 5 just to even it out. But I'm going to use 7. I'm going to stick with 7. And again, we don't want to go too heavy. It's very specific on that. The doe foot applicator does pick up quite a bit here along the tip. So I'm just going to scrape a little bit of that off so that it leaves me with a little bit less. Okay. So I'm going to start off with the right side. Okay, just one layer. Just one layer. All right, and now I'm going to take my damp 3D HD and I'm going to blend it. It does state to blend, blend, blend. Usually I would use my Real Techniques, which is this one right here. This is the Deluxe Crease Brush. But for today's video, since it does want you to blend, 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 I can't blend with that one. That one just kind of like spreads out the product evenly, and it leaves me with the majority of the product on my skin, which I don't want to do with this one because of how much they emphasize like not overdoing the under eye area. So I don't want to provoke this concealer to act cakey or to crack or anything like that. I'm going to try to blend it. Ooh! All right, now let me blend this side. Okay, so there's the under eye area, and that's a lot of coverage, especially if you consider the fact that I used a beauty sponge instead of my dense brush that I usually use underneath the eyes. When I use a dense brush, it doesn't absorb as much of the product, and so more of the product stays on my skin. It just kind of spreads it around and blends it into the skin. When I use makeup sponges like this one, like my 3D HD blender from Sigma, it does absorb a little bit of the product. I mean, all beauty sponges are going to absorb a little bit of the product. Whether I've used this one or my beauty blenders, they've all absorbed some of the product, just depending on which ones you use. If they're a little bit more dense in their texture, they might absorb less than the ones that are a little bit more porous. So considering the fact that I did use a sponge and it did absorb some of the product, it still left me with a lot of coverage underneath the eyes. So I am pretty impressed right now. It doesn't seem to be settling into any of my fine lines right now, but off the bat, I feel like I am getting a little bit better coverage over here, and I think you'll see that better when I zoom you all in here in a second. I feel like I just am getting more even coverage over here than I am over here. So let me go ahead and zoom you all in so that you can get a better look at the under eye area after initial application. Okay, so this is the under eye area, and I feel, actually now that I look at it up close through the monitor, maybe I'm getting the same coverage on both sides. I don't know, what do you all think? But it looks good. It looks good underneath the eyes, and I really, really like it. All right, so now I'm gonna go ahead and jump off camera one last time in order to finish off the rest of my makeup, and I will be right back. Okay, so now I am back, makeup is done, and I kept these swatches on my hand just to see what kind of finish this provides us with. And once it dries down, it seems to dry down to like a matte. Not a very drying matte, but it is definitely matte, and it does not seem to transfer. Like once it's set, it's set. So that makes sense why I wouldn't need to set the under eye area. It feels comfortable. It does feel lightweight, and I love the coverage right now. So we'll see how it continues to wear. It is, oh my gosh, I have so many ring notifications. Like, it's a lot. It's 11:29 in the morning. I do plan on wearing this the entire day. And of course, I'll be coming back halfway through the day in order to show you all some close-ups and to talk to you all a little bit about how the concealer has been wearing up to that point. So I will see you all back here in a few hours for my midday check-in. Okay, so now I am back from my midday check-in. It is currently 3:58. So I've had this concealer on now for a little over 4 hours. Now, before I get into what I think about the concealer so far, I'm going to zoom you all in so that you can get a better look at the under eye area after a little over 4 hours of wear. Okay, so here it is. Not bad. I would say certainly not bad at all. It does feel very lightweight underneath the eyes, and it is providing similar coverage on both sides, I think. As of right now, still really like it. All right, so there you have it. That is the current situation underneath the eyes. I'm still really pleased by this. I really love the way that it feels. It feels super lightweight underneath the eyes, and it's still providing nice coverage. And then look, this, I just noticed this before I came upstairs. I forgot to wipe this off on the swatches from this morning, and they're not coming off, like, at all. I've washed my hands multiple times. Granted, I don't usually lather it up crazy all over my hands. Like, if I usually, you know, lather the fingertips and the palms, and yeah, I'll do the back, but not that much. But this is the situation. Like, so I washed my hands since this morning. You better believe it. And I still, like, they're on there. So that I'm really impressed by. And it looks great. So that's it for now. I will be back at the end of the day to let you all know and show you exactly what this concealer looks like after a full day's worth of wear. So I'll see you all back here in a few more hours for my final thoughts on this new concealer from Benefit. Okay, so now I am back. It is finally the end of my day. It is 8:29 at night. So I've had this concealer on now for about, I want to say 9 hours or almost 9 hours, right? Is that correct? Yes, I think almost 9 hours. Now, before I give you my overall thoughts on this new concealer, I'm going to zoom you all in one last time so that you can get a better look at the under eye area after almost 9 hours of wear. All right, so here it is. I don't really see a whole lot of changes from earlier in the day, and from this morning, really, I don't think that this concealer has really moved around or broken up. Definitely doesn't look heavy underneath the eyes, and overall, I'm really impressed. So there you have it. That is the current situation under the eyes, and I must say I really like this concealer. I really like it a lot. I didn't think that I would, honestly. I didn't think that I would end up liking this concealer, but it stayed put the entire day. It didn't settle in between my fine lines. Even though I didn't set it in the morning, it still didn't settle in between my fine lines. It didn't break, it didn't crack, it didn't separate. It still looks pretty good underneath the eyes, even almost after 9 hours. However, I just feel like I like the way that it's wearing over here a little bit better than I do over here, because it is more of a matte concealer, or it does dry down pretty matte. I feel like those types of concealers wear better with my Becca corrector underneath it. But as far as coverage, they're both pretty good. They're both pretty identical, and we didn't use a whole lot of product. So overall, I'm really happy with this concealer, and this is definitely something that I will continue to grab because it wears so nicely, and it's super lightweight. Because you don't need a whole lot of product to begin with, it doesn't feel heavy. It doesn't feel heavy, and the likeliness of it settling in between your fine lines, it lessens because you don't need as much concealer. I really like the way that this looks. I like the way that it wore, and it's still holding up even after almost 9 hours. So for those reasons, it's a definite win in my book. But the only issue that I see is the shade range. The shade range is a little awful. It's a little bad, a little too bad. Even I had a hard time finding something that was suitable for my complexion. And usually I don't don't have a hard time. And with this one, I had to actually go in to try to figure out, okay, which one of these concealers is going to be my best match. So if you're looking to purchase a new concealer that's lightweight, that you're not going to have to set, that you're not going to have to worry about it settling into fine lines, that's a little matte but very comfortable, like this is certainly going to be something that I will recommend if you can find your shade. That's the only downside, is that they don't have a lot of shades to choose from. But other than that, I mean, this is an absolute win. Yes. So that completes today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. I truly hope that you enjoyed today's product review and that you found it helpful. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss out on future videos. And also don't forget to follow me on Instagram, where I absolutely love to interact with you all. As always, take care, and I will see you all in my next video. Mwah! Bye.